Alright guys, Steve here with PPG. What's your name and what'd you do this past weekend?
My name's Danny Prither, and I top 4 the Arizona Regional.
Alright, what'd you play?
I played Trickstars.
Trickstars, how'd you like it?
I loved it. It was super consistent. The deck is almost like Zoo in a sense, where it's just like you can play so many combo cards with it that it just kind of can overpower your opponent or like take over whenever you need to. And it also burns, which helps with like the gameplay of like speeding up the games where you're only on a set amount of turns rather than like, you know, a 30-minute match.
Okay. Alright, let's get into the deck profile.
Alright, so I played 3 Candina. It's the Stratos of the deck. Played 3 Lycris. It's the main burn card in the deck. And I played 1 Lilybell. I wanted to play 2 of these, but it just kind of gets too clunky, but there's a lot of combo pieces with Lilybell for like OTKs, and it's just a really cool interaction card, but you never want to draw it.
Okay.
Then I played 2 Honest, and then I played 2 Ash Blossom, played 1 Maxi, and then I played 3 Droll Unlock. And Droll Unlock is insane. I mean, taking your opponent's hand away from him any turn is just ridiculous. It's also really good against the mirror match. It's really good against magicians as soon as they search with like Pendulum Call or like any of those cards, and they just get a stop for the turn, and it helped a lot in those matchups. And then I went for the control variant, so then I didn't play Wind Witches, I opted for Kaijus. So I played Jizukuru, Gamma Seal, and Sticky String.
How did the Kaijus work out for you?
They're great. They're really awesome. I opted for this so I could play an additional board wipe, so I also played Interrupted Kaiju Slimmer. So
okay.
It was really good. And being able to out like a Masterpiece or a Crystal Wing or anything is in the main deck is super good for game 1.
Right.
Then I played That's It for Monsters. Then I played 3 Light Stage. This card is insane. This card is literally just ridiculous, and no, it's not once per turn. I mean, you just keep searching, keep popping their spells and traps, or forcing the activations. It's really great. Then I played 3 Terraforming, so I could play a total of 6 Light Stages. I always want to open that card. I played 3 Chain Summonings. I always want to draw this card too. If I draw this card, I can get out of either a pinch, or I can go for an OTK, or I can go for like a second turn, just overwhelming board. And it's actually not that hard to go off. A lot of people think you just need like the normal combo with Lycris and Candina, but you can also do it with something as simple as just playing Light Sage, targeting your opponent's face-down trap, and then they activate it, and then you chain summoning, and then there you go, you got your Candina for the turn or whatever. So it's actually a really good card in this deck. I think it's a must at 3.
Okay.
Then I play 2 Desires, because drawing cards is amazing in this deck.
Yep.
I actually desired twice in my last match against Jimmy and dug out the win with it, so I think 2's enough. I don't want to go for 3, so I don't have dead cards.
Right.
And then I played Book of Eclipse. This is kind of my spicy card. This card doesn't target, so turns everything face down, makes a Masterpiece forget what it is, makes Crystal Wing forget what it is. So it's just a really good card. And the only downside of the card is your opponent gets to draw cards, but the point of the deck is for your opponent to draw cards. So like, say your opponent has a board of monsters and they set all their spells and traps, no cards in hand. I mean, you Book of Eclipse, summon a Lycris, they flip everything up, they draw all those cards, and then now they have a full hand for a reincarnation play to continue to burn them and go for game that way too. So it has a lot of uses. It's a really good card. Then I played Scapegoat. Played Scapegoat just for like a 1-turn Firewall or 1-turn Ingrisu. It's just a good card, and it can also be a defensive card. I didn't want to play any more because that's not the point of my deck. The point of my deck is control. This is just more of like an additional out to if I need to beat over a big monster or like summon a Topologic for, you know, a certain kind of play. So it's a situational card.
Yeah.
And then I played all the board wipes I could play. So I played Raigeki, Dark Hole, and Slumber. I built this deck to go second because this deck already wins going first, so I wanted it to win going second. And since I lost all my dice rolls but 2, and I went X1, I think I did a pretty good job at that. So
Alright.
that's it for the spells. And then for traps, I played 3 Reincarnations. I know I said Light Sage is the best card in the deck, but this card is definitely the best card in the deck. I mean, being able to banish your opponent's entire hand and have them draw the same amount of cards, it just has so many uses. Like, when they search for cards, you know, like with Secrets or with like Blue Boy or the Wind Witches, I mean, you just get to banish the cards they just search for, and then they're out for those turns. It's a really good card, and especially the graveyard effect where it's not even, I mean, you can activate it the turn it was sent to the graveyard, so that in itself is just ridiculous.
Yeah, the graveyard plus the field.
Yeah, it's just stupid. And then I played 2 Recalls. So Recall is kind of like my other tech card I played. I was talking a lot with Victor Tegel about the use of this card, and it's basically like the same thing as the Solemn Strike as far as destroying with the monster effects, but it's free because they get to draw a card, but that's the only like downside of the card. But once again, I'm trying to get them to draw cards.
Yeah.
This card also has a lot of use with making like the draw and lock play live again, making your opponent be able to banish their hand. So I mean, if you have this, and then a draw and lock in your hand, you know, they summon a monster, activate the effect, you recall, they draw a card, and then resolution of the card, then you activate reincarnation, draw and lock, they lost their whole hand, and they didn't get their monster effect. And it was all free to you.
It's pretty busted.
Yeah, it's super busted. It's a great card. So that was the deck. I played 40 cards exactly. I wanted it to be as consistent as possible for the amount of rounds we were playing, and I literally wouldn't change a thing about it. It was great.
Nothing changed in the main deck?
No, nothing at all. Then shout out to the group chat. Appreciate you guys. And for extra deck, I played 1 Holy Angel. This card is really good, but you only need 1 of them. It has a lot of uses. It gets really big, and it also, you know, burns your opponent too. And it's just like that extra little bit that you need. I played 1 Proxy, 2 Link Spiders, 2 Misses, 2 Ib, 2 Ningrisu, Topologic, and Firewall. So these are all my targets for the Scapegoat play. Just being able to summon any of these cards with Scapegoats and 1 monster is just ridiculous.
Right.
So that was just more the utility side of the extra deck. I didn't really need too much extra deck this whole tournament. And then I played 1 rank 3 out with Breaksword, and then 1 rank 4 out with Lightning.
Is there anything that you change about the extra deck at all? Or?
Yeah, so originally I kind of like copied this extra deck for one of my friends, Vic, who was playing like multiple Scapegoats. So he needed like, you know, 2 Misses, 2 Link Spiders and stuff. So if I was to change anything, I would take out like the extra cards that I can't actually use and then put in, you know, like little ticky-tacky cards like Heartland or like Nightmare Shark or Tornado Dragon, just more like utility XYZs.
Okay.
That's 15. And then for the side deck, I played 2 Zaphion. This card was not very good this whole tournament. I only had a chance to use it once. In this format, this card's only really good against Draco. With like Paleo, they have like the Book of Moon out, they have the Karma Cut out. So, I mean, they can stop it there. As far as the Magicians go, you know, they have the Trap out for it. So it's okay. It's not great. So I'll probably cut it to 1 because I still like the utility with either forcing their activations of these cards or, you know, like I said, with Draco.
Right.
The OP card of the side deck was Denko Sekka. This card is nuts in the mirror match. It's also nuts against Paleo and every other deck. I mean, having this card in your hand and being able to like summon it after you chain summoning and have a huge board and then just stop everything else from there is just ridiculous. Then I played 2 System Downs. I only had 1 ABC matchup, and I didn't draw this card, and that was my only loss of the day to Zach, so that was pretty cool. I played 2 Cosmic Cyclones. This card is great against Magicians, Paleo, everything. This card is just super overpowered. Really liking this format. 2-Dimensional Barrier, also great out to Magicians and Paleo. And then for the last part of my extra deck, my side deck, I decided to opt for the burn nature of the deck, just so I could win going first, games 2 and 3, and to help me win in my time matches as well.
Right.
So I played 2 Dark Rooms, 2 Contract with Dawn Thousands, and 2 Disturbance Strategies. So it helped out a lot. Being able to just access that additional burn damage is just really helpful in this deck. So.
Right.
And that was it.
All right. Is there any shout outs or anything you want to give?
Yeah, shout outs to the group chat, like I said. Got Zach, Louie, Dom, Kyle. Shout out, and Mark, shout out to Vic for helping me with this deck. Shout out to Sam Gilbert for helping me theory with this deck. I had no playtest time the entire week, and I was able to pull out a regional top, so that was super cool. And then shout out to Top Caliber Gaming. He's got all your gaming needs in Scottsdale, Arizona. Johnny Bircher, local player, runs the shop. Brand new, got all your Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Force of Will, Final Fantasy, he's got it all. So shout out to Johnny Bircher, and that's it.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.